Okay, so here's what happened. A couple years ago at this point, I did a video talking about which places I believe you should avoid living in the city of Denver. One of those places was, I admit, the East Colfax neighborhood. Now, that was a while ago. Things can change. Opinions can change. I haven't checked in on it in a while. A couple months ago, I got a call from a gentleman named John. John had watched the video, and he was not happy. Turns out, after a, fairly long and spirited conversation, I learned he had lived in the neighborhood for a long time, still does live in the neighborhood, and was not happy of my thoughts and depiction of East Colfax. So, in the midst of this conversation, I said to myself, well, it's been a while, and honestly, I don't know that much about the East Colfax neighborhood. I've just been through it. I might be completely wrong. So what we're doing today is we're going to figure out if I am wrong. We're going to check out some spots in the neighborhood, and we're actually going to show you near the end what you can get in terms of a house and for what price in the East Colfax neighborhood too. To check out the neighborhood, we're going to go right now, and we're literally going to meet John because, like I said, I don't really know my way around the neighborhood, and it's clear that he does. So let's see how it goes.
So Ben and I cruise down Colfax to meet John, and we meet him at this coffee house. It's a really charming building, was converted from a house at some point. I was going to say Quince, but it's called Quince Coffee House, and it's right off the main drag. Really cool little place, a bunch of different rooms. They actually have a special coffee drink that matches up with every zodiac sign, so that's what I got, and it is delicious. We meet John and his friend Pavel, who is also a resident of the neighborhood, and everybody's in a good mood. I'll tell you, we did have some audio issues during this shoot, so I'm going to voice it over more than I usually would, but I do want to hear from John a little bit because he had a lot of interesting stuff to say. So please pardon the quality, but I get his passion for the neighborhood because he has lived here for 26 years.
So we were talking a little bit before, but we should talk about how we met.
I think I caught one of your food videos, which I didn't disagree with, and I was like, oh, this guy's got a pretty cool video. Mm-hmm. So I switched, and the next video that popped up when I looked at your feed was a buy here, not there. Mm-hmm. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. East Colfax, and I'm president of the East Colfax Neighborhood Association. We're a registered neighborhood organization. Anyway, one of the things you said was East Colfax, you were talking about being a little bit seedy, and deserving of the reputation. The thing about it, East Colfax is one of the few refuges of sanity within maybe the Denver market, maybe the country. Just because of the nature, a little bit of grittiness in East Colfax. I mean, let's not lie. There's a little bit of grit on East Colfax. And then also, once you get off Colfax, it's a little bit of a different neighborhood.
For sure. Yeah.
But even on Colfax, it's one of the few places in Denver where entrepreneurs can really afford to start a business. The businesses in Colfax tend to be really unique because they're built by hand in one person's vision. It's not going to be as refined as your average Starbucks or chain restaurant, but it's also one of the only places where you can come and get family recipes and really you're being served by the owner, by somebody that really is just loving what they're doing. Living out their American dream.
So we take off to head to one of those businesses. We just head down Colfax just a little bit to this super charming restaurant called El Tamarindo. It's a Central American place, and I don't know if I've ever been to a Central American restaurant before. Super unpretentious, which I'm finding is a theme with the places on East Colfax. And actually the owner herself, Michelle, comes out and serves us. And that's not because we're there with cameras or anything. That's just because that's what she does. She starts us off with these little flavored waters, gives us a few different samples. We shoot them down, as one does, and they're fantastic. It's a great little way to start a meal. And then the pupusas. So I've never had a pupusa before, but John was raving about them. And this is something I've been looking forward to trying.
What we got is the pupusa has the meat and the cheese inside of it. Okay. The tomato sauce is thin, and it's not spicy like you would think of a traditional, like a Mexican red sauce would be pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And then it's a pickled cabbage that goes on that. And then if you're talented, you can get it like a taco.
If I'm talented, then I'm going to give it my best shot. Holy fuck. That's so good. It's got a little bit of that tamale flavor, from the corn, I feel like. It's fantastic.
And I will say that This is the most addictive thing on Colfax.
Really?
There's a lot of things on Colfax you can get addicted to.
Off we go to one more spot. This is another restaurant John loves. It's just down the street. This one is also right on Colfax, somewhere you'd never really think to walk in. At least I wouldn't if I was just cruising down the street. It's Sarahi's Kitchen. Again, super unpretentious, super friendly. It's quiet because it's the middle of the afternoon, but one of the owners, Jesus, comes out and serves us as well and kind of just brings this spread for us. Pozole and a bunch of different toppings, and it is unsurprisingly delicious. And some flavored beverages as well. And as we go through it, I'm realizing what John, I think, was trying to get across to me in that first phone call. And what he's really getting across to me here, there's a lot of good in this neighborhood. A lot of the time, all people see, and admittedly all I'd seen, is driving through, right? Getting from one place to the other. You see Colfax, you see it's a little rough, a little gritty. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily think to go into any of these places. They're not gonna make a big Denver Post best of list. But once we get inside, all three of these have been fantastic, and they're all locally owned and run operations, which is what a lot of people say they want in a restaurant. We are going to check out a house in the neighborhood to see what you can get in East Colfax. So we say goodbye to John and thank him, and I take a moment to decompress before we head over to do the home tour.
So I'm actually pretty shocked with what we saw today. You kind of expect like, oh, I learned some new things. I have a different opinion of what I did before. That was kind of the idea, right? But even just John taking us around for those few hours here in this afternoon, the deliciousness of the food, the warmth of the people, and the kind of excellent establishments lying right on or off Colfax there in this maybe half-mile radius, kind of blew me away. Those pupusas, one of the best things I've eaten in a long time. We moved from me potentially being censured by the East Colfax Neighborhood Association for my views to the neighborhood has a new fan, honestly. Very interesting day. All right, I'm gonna change my shirt real quick. And let me show you one more thing. And to give you an idea of the type of home you can get in this neighborhood, we are going to take a look inside one right now. We are just about a half block off Montview. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath house here situated kind of on the north side of the neighborhood. Just listed for $475. Let's take a look. All right, so we're at 1970 Willow Street here. This one is just coming on the market. Coming in, there's a living space. We do have the kitchen right here. We're going to get to that. But first, I want to show you the primary bedroom here on the south side of the house, where you will see a quite beautiful cat leisurely enjoying the afternoon sunshine. We did not stage that. That's just naturally what happens in this home. So what we have here is a longer, pretty spacious primary suite for this size of home. And you'll see this a lot, homes of this era. I don't know if it's the case here, but what happened with a lot of them is there was a 1-car garage that was attached that's been converted so there's more square footage. This would be consistent with that. We got skylights up here and an ensuite bathroom. You will notice in here, as with a lot of places in this home, number of tasteful updates, not a full-on remodel, not a full-on flip, but a number of updates to bring it into the modern era. What we have is the TV mounted right here behind Ben, but then just this nice little living space. This is where your front door opens to. So you could do one couch, a few couches here. Not a huge space, but enough to have a spot just to hang out, entertain, those sorts of things, like you do in your home. Come along into the kitchen, galley style, okay? So we do have an updated backsplash, granite countertops, electric stove. You got everything you need. They're using all the space they have here. We do have a door into the backyard, which we will enter at the end because this is a big lot. This is almost a 1/4 acre. And that is one of the benefits of homes in this neighborhood. Smaller home, but you get a bigger lot. It's a 2-bathroom, so 3-bed, 2-bath. It also has laundry right here. And the second bathroom, one in the primary, one in the main area. Dedicated dining space. This is what I like. You don't see this. Even in much bigger homes, you don't see a dedicated dining area all over the place. And then 2 bedrooms here at the end of the hallway, shall we say. And then coming downstairs, you gotta be careful, low bridge. This home was built in 1949. So a lot of homes of that era either didn't have a basement, don't have a basement at all, or the basement was dug out afterwards. Sometimes you get some lower bridges like that, but this basement, not a ton of space, mostly used for storage. You see we got tool storage right here. There is a separate room down here, which you can take a look at. This was previously listed as a bedroom. We decided not conforming with the egress window, not gonna call it a bedroom, not gonna call it a fourth bedroom. I would call it a jam room, and I would argue every home really does need one of those. And then the backyard. This is the backyard. This is a huge backyard, really by any standards, especially by Denver standards. We have well over 9,000 square feet back here. So we're coming up on a 1/4 acre. You can see the owners have this whole space over here fenced off for garden beds. So they've kept really flourishing gardens over here and a ton of room for their dogs to run around. They have 2 big dogs. It's a great dog yard. We're not done with the animals there yet because over here we have chickens. You may have thought about it, I've thought about it, the dream of having your own fresh eggs. This is a great big space for grazing and chickens to roam. Hey ladies, how we doing? With the cost of eggs these days, I mean, how could you say no? It's a dream. A lot of people will put a garage over here in this backyard. These owners have just kept to keep it open, a lot of space for animals and activities. And actually very walkable too. We talked before about all the walkability that this neighborhood has, but this particular location is really, really close to a lot of Central Park and a couple of my favorite spots in the metro. One of them, I want to take you to right now. Stanley Marketplace, one of the true OGs in the food hall game, one of the best ones in Colorado, right down the street, legitimately walkable, or a 3-minute drive. Let's go in. It's got a ton of places to eat, drink, activities, but it's been a while since I've had a beverage on this channel, so let's go to my favorite part of the building, Stanley Beer Hall. Cheers. Call me for more info. Otherwise, love you. Talk soon.